All right, y'all can have a seat. All right.
Serious, bro? Yeah, quiet. This is how late I was.
All right. What's up, boys? Been a minute. Talk to me a little bit about, bless you. Talk to me a little bit about last week in Florence. I know varsity was in Florence, and then JV, y'all were in North Charleston, right? Yeah, JV, how'd it go? Pretty good. Yeah, nice. What was our record? Second. Okay. How many matches? 4. Okay. Decent opponents or no?
One of them, we lost all against them.
The academic magnet. Okay. Okay. All right, and varsity, 2-2, right? And play JL Man, is that correct? Yeah. Riverside, that's right. That's right. Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. They the favorite of the upstate?
To beat JL Man, yes.
Yeah. Flora, Riverside, and JL Man's pretty good too. Okay. Okay.
Oh, we were close.
Yeah, that's important too. Like if you're, so we didn't get blown out in any of those? No. Right. Yeah. That's good.
2-4 every time we lost.
Okay. Yeah, especially this time of year. If you're knocking on the door and you're competing, that's something to build and grow on. Sounds like there's a little drama with Wando. Something about some Ecuadorian players or something.
Oh, yeah, they should have played, but they can't because they're not citizens.
Okay. But now they can. Okay. Good. Great. Bring it on. You guys will play them in a couple of weeks too, correct? Wando, I think. I saw him on the schedule. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's just one thing I want to talk about, and then we'll get you a meditation in for today, and then get going. So, does anybody have a journal? Virginia, have you got a journal? Not with you. I just mean in general. You've got a journal now. Yep. Period. You got a journal, tennis journal that you can use. Okay. Mixed bag. I know we did it last year. I mentioned it to Coach Howard, to mention it to you when we didn't meet last week. All right. But I'll make one more call for journals. Okay. If you don't have a journal yet for tennis, get one, have one, use one, and assume you should bring it every time that we meet. Okay. If you know we're meeting, bring your journals. Okay. Because what I want you to do, and this is something, this is not brand new, but there's a new take on it, a new twist on it. In the past, those who have been around in the past, post-match, I asked you to do something called a well, better, how. Now I'm going to call it SW1. Okay, SW1. S stands for strengths, W stands for weakness or weaknesses, and 1 stands for one thing or 1% better. I'll call it 1%ers. Okay, so after the match that you play, you can do it because I know you guys have some time to kill sometimes, not always, but I know sometimes you have time to kill. You're watching your teammates, they're still playing. After your match, you can break out the journal when it's fresh and you're ready, and you can go ahead and do your reflection for the match. You can do it on the bus, on the way home. If it's a road game, you can do it laying in bed at night before you go to bed. But sometime, ideally within the first 24, most ideally before the next practice, I want you to reflect on the match that occurred, okay? The first thing I want you to note are your strengths, all right? What were the positive things about your game or about that day, okay? It doesn't even have to be literally about just your tennis match. It can be the build up to it, okay? Your preparation to it. It can be the sleep that you got, all right? But seeking and searching for some kind of positive, some kind of strengths from that match day. Then the weaknesses, okay? An area of weakness, something that you noticed in your game in particular that was weak, that could be better, that you can improve upon. Physical, of course, or mental, all right? And again, it could also just be your preparation up to that match. It could have nothing to do with the match itself. And then from there, you've got your 1%ers, okay? 14 minutes and 24 seconds is all it takes to get 1% better in your day, okay? So you take those weaknesses, you take the quote-unquote negatives from your day, and what you're doing is you're closing up your reflection by drawing up a plan of attack, of how I'm going to get better in that next day. Okay, it's not enough to just point out that you sucked at something that day. Okay, now you be your own coach. Design your own practice plan. What is it that you're going to do in the next practice, in the next 24 hours, to make that weakness a strength? Okay, it's essentially a how, an action plan. Okay, so don't just say too that, like, oh, energy needs to be better. I need to bring better energy and focus. Okay, but how? All right, what was it about your energy and focus leading up to the match that was hurting you, and how are you going to improve it in the next practice or even the next match? Okay, and that's the baseline for your journals. That's what I want you to do after each match. But then you can use your journals for anything and everything from there. Okay, you can take notes on opponents. You can take notes on your own game. All right, just use it as general reflections. I just want you to try that out a little bit, because if you do, what's going to start to happen is you're going to start to, if you do it consistently, that's the other thing. If you do this once every now and again, it's frankly almost pointless. Okay, it's a waste of time. But if you make this a part of your routine and make this a habit, all right, alongside of this meditation that we do each week, and hopefully start to do on your own, what you're really, really going to start to notice, and you're going to start to develop over the weeks and the months to come, is a sense of clarity and a sense of control over your game. And more than anything, a sense of awareness, really good self-awareness. Okay, and it's going to help you navigate emotions. Real highs in terms of emotions, those usually aren't too hard to deal with, although sometimes they're a problem, right? We get a little too high, a little too excited, a little too confident. The match isn't over, right? The playoffs aren't over, the season isn't over. We get a little ahead of ourselves, all right? But more often than not, as people in general, but especially as athletes and especially tennis players, we're more often than not just really negative with ourselves, okay? And we ride the lows a little too much. And so through this journaling practice where you sit down, you reflect every angle of it, okay? And then also through this meditation practice, you're going to start to notice within your game, like, I'm getting a little irrational right now, and I'm going to come back to being practical, and I'm going to come back to the things that I can control, okay? And that's kind of the idea there. But again, it's only going to work if you use it as a consistent routine, not just sometimes every now and then I do a journal reflection. If you do that again, I think you're wasting your time. Okay. So I want to put that disclaimer out there, say that now, before I see you guys again next week, because you will have a match to reflect on. You guys, varsity plays tomorrow, right? Okay. So there's matches between now and next week when we meet. Okay. So what I expect between now and next week when we meet is for you to have journals and for you to have reflections in there. All right. Strengths, weaknesses, and one percenters. And to even further, and Coach Howard, I know, has done this in the past, but it's a great kind of post-match practice day sort of thing to do as a team, get together, sit down and talk about the match the day before, especially since you're probably recovering a little bit. And so, again, have those journals with you at those practices the day after as well. Okay? All right, with that, I'm going to give you a little meditation every day, and then we'll get on with it. So go ahead and try to get as comfortable as possible. Starting to get a little warmer today, which is nice, better than it being cold. But again, I encourage you guys, if you don't have a yoga mat, maybe invest in one, especially out here on this court. Maybe keep it around for our Wednesdays. Court is starting to get hot and whatnot. Or even a towel will help. Yeah? Feel good? Notice the difference? How long? That's it. And it feels different, right? That's what I'm saying. That's all you need. That's all I can use them. I go home like 3 minutes. That's about all I can crank out. That's the thing, is you don't have to think about anything. You just sit back and let it happen, right? Just follow your breath. Start to notice the thoughts that come in and out. And when those thoughts come in and out, the practice here is to not attach ourselves to those thoughts. There's no good, there's no bad. There just is. There's simply thoughts. And we do this because you're going to have thoughts within the realm of a tennis match. And because we live our day-to-day lives constantly going, that's a good thought, that's a bad thought, that's a good feeling, that's a bad feeling. When we're playing tennis, everything's good and bad, good and bad. And like I said earlier, usually more often than not, we talk about the bad more than the good. And so then if you think about it, a lot of tennis players, a lot of athletes spend most of the time competing thinking about all the bad things they're doing or the potentially bad things that could happen. Through this practice of meditation, we're giving room and we're giving space for thoughts to creep up, and they do. And we're just being very intentional and just seeing them as what they are. These weird thoughts that just come in uninvited, sometimes random, almost like a dream. And can you just practice kind of letting them roll by? Pick an analogy. Maybe it's a cloud drifting by, a leaf on a river drifting by. Maybe the whole river is all thoughts rolling right by. We live here on James Island. We all love our beach and Folly Beach. We've all sat in a chair on the beach, looked out at the horizon line. You see boats coming and going. Maybe that's how you start to treat your thoughts that come in uninvited or invited. And in your own meditations, you just get intentional with the breath. So what we're going to do today, okay, is we're essentially going to do 10 rounds of breathing. You're going to inhale in through the nose, filling up the belly and the chest. No pause. You're going to let it go and exhale. This is going to be in through the nose and out through the mouth. And that's going to be the first breath. And then the next one, you're going to do the same thing, but this time you're going to hold between the inhale and the exhale. So you'll hold that inhale and you'll hold it for 8 seconds. Count down from 8 to 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale. And that'll be your longest hold of this practice. And then the next round, inhale in through the nose and hold for 7 and let it go. Hold for 6, hold for 5, hold for 4, hold for 3, hold for 2, and hold for 1. And then after you hold for 1, I want you to finish the way you started, with just an inhale in and an exhale out. So take a few minutes to do this. And if you lose count, you lose track of where you're at, just come back to the last number you remember. It's not a matter of if, but when you yawn, let it happen. That doesn't count, by the way, but it does feel good. So if you're in the middle of a round and you feel a yawn coming on, just yawn, then go back to where you were. And as you sink deeper into this kind of flow state, just notice how your state changes in a matter of a few breaths. Notice what stillness feels like. Notice what it feels like on a tennis court. Download and memorize this feeling of stillness, of calm on this tennis court. And once you complete those 10 rounds, you complete that last breath, the one that you started with, start to imagine yourself rising back to the surface of a clear and calm ocean. Follow your inhales and your exhales as you start to move the hands out and feet out a little bit and break out of that physical stillness. I know we've been fighting some gnats a little bit, so we haven't been as still as we'd like. Maybe those gnats are a metaphor for our thoughts sometimes, nagging, biting at us. And when you're ready, wherever you're at, there's no rush. Everyone's on their own time here, their own flow. But yeah, coming back to that surface, above the water line, you can start to open your eyes. Maybe sit up once you're finished. And as we start to close this thing out, okay, this is third round of meditation and quiet time with Coach Heff, okay? And we got matches happening. Action is happening. I want you to be intentional about trying to apply this to the court, right? As soon as tomorrow, even today in practice, okay? Definitely tomorrow when you're competing against somebody from another team and you got an opponent on the other side, the breath, okay? Being intentional with the breath. Whenever you get a chance to reset, use it. All right, think about making it a part of your routine if you don't already, especially pre-serve routines. Okay, trying to connect the dots there. All right, with that we say namaste and vamos. It was my pleasure. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful practice, and enjoy this weather that we finally got. Good luck tomorrow. Journals, reflect. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep meditating. Namaste. You're welcome. See you, boys.